Hey there, I am Katrin Seeberger, and welcome to the first of hopefully many YouTube videos. In full transparency, I did film a sort of knitting blog in June or July of last year. I edited it halfway and then I ended up giving up through the process. So I'll probably finish that one and post it, so you'll get a little bit of a later post on that one. But I really have been enjoying coming to my Instagram feed and talking about my projects in a short form. And I really wanted to expand upon that and dive into this world of YouTube. So I hope you have a good beverage and some knitting, or whatever else you like to do when you listen to knitting videos, and that you enjoy what I have to share with you today. These videos will kind of vary in what their topics are. I'd really like to start making videos about my finished projects and a deep dive into my thoughts of the pattern, how they fit me, any changes I made, so that it can really be something a little bit more in depth of a journal for what I'm working on and when I finish them and my thoughts through the process. And I would like that to include both things I design and things I don't design, as well as just talking about what I'm working on, what I'm reading, and I would like to include design updates just to keep myself accountable and really take you along the process of what it's like for me to go through a design from idea to ultimate publication to Ravelry, now that I've done it a couple of times. So first on my table, I have my whips. I only have a couple because I just finished a big project that I'll show you in a bit. And I'm just kind of taking a break a little bit. I had also released a pattern, so that took a lot of time. So I haven't knit a whole lot, but I've been knitting a little bit. First, I've been working with Sorella Yarn on my most recent sweater project. I am an affiliate for their yarn, so I'll include a link down below if you're interested in trying out their yarn or want to do any of the projects I've worked on. Their collection will be around for the next week for the winter before they switch their new tonals. But they offered to send me Snowdrift on top of the project that I was working on to sort of go with that project, but also because they're releasing this towards the end of their collection here. And I really like it. It's a super variegated, it's got lots of tones of blue between like tealy greens and blues. It's got some really deep blues in here. And then I also really like the more taupey colors, and it's got like a very pink taupe in it. But I think that the way that the color is dyed, especially on the boucle, is so lovely, and it's not pooling at all in this pattern. And I'm really excited for this hat. I don't have a lot of hats that I've knitted, so this one will definitely be for me. It's a little bit more of a selfish knit, but I think that the color is fantastic. I've really enjoyed working with this boucle. I have not worked with boucle in at least probably 8 or 9 years since I was in college and was experimenting with different materials for my portfolio. But I am really enjoying it. It was a little fiddly at the cast on because it was a cast on I hadn't tried before, but I am really enjoying the process, and the texture is just super plush and warm, and I think that this will be a really nice hat to wear once it's finished. The pattern that I'm using is the River Beanie pattern by Woolbird, and I've really been wanting to try one of their patterns. I had to do a few things because while this yarn is technically a DK, it does have a lot of lift to it. My gauge was a little bit larger than your typical DK, so I ended up going down in needle sizes and then also restarting at a worsted weight size in the pattern. The pattern has different sizes. Is a 100% superwash merino wool, and then this is their DK weight, so I believe it's about 240 yards per 100 grams. And I'm almost finished with my hat and have a lot left over, so I think it'll be fun to see how far I can take this, and maybe I'll make another one for my partner to match or something. Show you the yarn and show you what I've been doing and see if you can take any guesses. I think you can guess the motif maybe that it will have. There's a wonderful hand-dyed company in Milwaukee called Stitch Stuff Yarn. I have gotten to meet one of the dyers before at Cream City Yarn out in Brookfield near Milwaukee. I'm really excited to work with them. They reached out to me to use their home line, which is a traceable US wool. And I thought that the story behind the wool was really exciting, and I definitely wanted to work with a Milwaukee company. And I really liked the colors that they were doing. It was all very earthy, and so I picked this chocolate brown and then the ivory to go with it. Can't wait to show you more as I work on it. My two finished objects that are not designs are my wave sweater. This is using Sorella wool in their Superwash Merino worsted base. This is super plush. I feel like I always know Sorella to have really plush yarns and just to have a lot of softness to it. And I think that this worked really well because sometimes with Superwash, I'm always worried about how the color work will work up because it might not grab as well, but I think that this really turned out lovely. I used Bunny Slope and Cognac from their winter tonal collection, and they had chosen all their colors based on sort of a ski lodge vintage vibe, and I think this is definitely the sweater that I would wear if I were going down to a ski lodge. So let's see if I can hold it all up at once. So yeah, I'm excited with how it turned out. I love the softness of the green blue and the Bunny Slope against the brown reds of Cognac. I definitely want to make a whole video about my process with this, show you how it fits on, as well as my thoughts on the pattern, the yarns, all of those things. But overall, I'm pretty happy with it. I really like the twisted stitch detail in the ribbing, if you can see it. Just kind of adds a little bit more of structure to it. Yeah, and I think this will be a super fun wear to have. My next finished object is the Shore Beanie by Emily Green. So this one I had knit for my partner for Valentine's Day, and I used the same two fingering weight and one mohair that I had used for my Doppio sweater. And I really liked how this worked up. I think it gave me a nice worsted base to go with, and I love how all the twisting of the cables look in here. To explore and try cables if you've never had by doing it in a hat, because it's a little bit smaller and you can see what you're doing a little bit more closely, but you can also just get a practice for the feel of stitches without having to commit to a full garment. So that's the Lakes beanie from Emily Green. He's already worn it a few times, so I think that this will keep him nice and cozy this winter. My next finished object will transition us to reading. And I'd finished knitting a second Storyteller quilt book sleeve just in time for me to publish the pattern. I wanted something that's a little bit brown and blue, but also using the third star, because the pattern does feature 3 different star patterns, so you'll have lots of options if you want to customize it or just make multiple and have different stars featured. So this one I did an I-cord tie on it, and I used a Cordsmith if you've never seen one. So these are really cool by Autumn. I ordered this one from Stars Hollow Yarn because I liked the color and the star on it. I think if I were to do it again, I would do it with original and not a mini. It was a little difficult with fingering held double on a mini. Don't do what I do. Get the original for this pattern. So I'm really excited with how it turned out. I'll talk about my book in a minute. And I really love these colors. As you can see, I'm on a blue and brown kick. For a while it was browns and pinks, so I'm liking what the Cool is doing in with the warm colors. I have included different closure options, so we have this one with the tie. And there's also an option where you can do a loop to have a button. So this is the first star with 3 different colors just based on what I had available. And then this is the third star. The other star is pictured in the pattern, so you'll have all of that available if you purchase the pattern to make your own book sleeve. It also includes charts 4, 2, or 3 color, just depending on what your stash looks like. I really like these for remnant projects. This is using 2 different yarns one from my Ovis, so it's like the main body here, and then the blue is from my Ghost sweater. And then this one is using remnants from my vest that I'll show you in a little bit. My book sleeves, and I'm really proud of them. And I will link the pattern in the caption if you're interested. For my reading, if you watch my video that I'll post later that I recorded last summer, you'll know that I'm still reading this book. I'm almost finished. I think I have 40 pages left, so hopefully I finish this later today. It's been a really good read, but now it's starting to hit a lot harder in our current climate than it did in the past, where it felt very motivational. Now it feels vital. And then I'm also reading, these are my 2 library books. I picked up First Time Caller. I had seen Selena's suggestion. She is Through the Wardrobe Yarn Co., but I believe her book account is Through the Bookshelf. Yeah, Through the Bookshelf. And so I saw her suggestion of this book, and I thought it sounded a lot of fun. It's got a single mom. The mom is a mechanic. The guy is a radio host. So they say it's a little bit of Sleepless in Seattle inspired, which I love 90s rom-coms. So I'm really excited to dive into this. I just started it, but I think that this will be a lot of fun to read. Then I have been having a lot of fun on Fable. I think it's a good book app that integrates social media in a cool way. So I joined a few book clubs, and one of them is a foodie book club. And they just finished Legends and Lattes, which I had already read, so I just gave them my previous review. But then now we're going to be reading the Kamogawa Food Detectives. And I'm really excited about this one. One, the cover's super cute. 2, I just think it'll be a nice story, and I'm excited to try it out. Japanese translation of a fictional story, and I think it'll be nice and warm and cozy. Also, I want this bowl of ramen. Maybe I'll make ramen tonight. TBD. I'm also reading The Dead Romantics. This one I own, so I'm going to take a little bit more time on it. And I'm also in another book club on Fable to read this, but that one has a little bit of a longer deadline. And I've been really enjoying this. I don't know, probably like 15% of the way through. This one feels like reading butter. The words just sort of continue to flow in such an easy way for me, and I'm really enjoying it while I knit because of that. And lastly, I finished Irish Erin. So this I have been reading to prepare for an upcoming trip to Ireland, and I just ordered the tweed version of it, and I'm going to hand this off to my partner's grandmother, who is also going with us. And I thought it was a really good brief overview over the history, the stories, and the patterns of Erin, while also including some things of the now. And I really appreciated it for that. It's not a textbook, it is definitely a brief overview, but I felt really exciting reading this book and just kind of immersing myself into the history of Erin in a light and fun way. Next, I have 2 design updates for you. So one is my homecoming quilt vest. I had this idea last year and I finished it in time for Flock and wore it. This is using ZZ Textiles yarn that I've collected over the years. I think when I took a picture of all the labels, it was really fun just to see the evolution that Rachel has gone through with her yarn company. And I really love how this turned out. I wore it to Flock. I'm ready to write the pattern and go through, and then a lot of fear hit. You know, it's a very scary process. You're putting your art into the world. You're wanting to make sure that everything is understandable. And there's a lot of people that can help with those things. But I think I just felt a lot of anxiety because it's my baby. And I really want to make sure I publish her in the best possible way. So this is me telling you, I'm going to finish writing it. I'm going to grade it with all the wonderful shaping that this pattern has, and it's going to be amazing. I really greenlit the book sleeve so that I could go through the process and start to feel a little less anxious about the whole thing. So now it's go time so that I can get this out to testers and ultimately to knitters at the end of the day. Then I worked on a little swatch. I don't know if you can see her, and if you can't, that's okay. It's just a little sneak peek. And I had a company reach out to me to work with me, but I really wanted to go through a proposal process. So I had them send me yarn so I can swatch it, ideate, because I wasn't entirely sure, but now I know exactly what I want to do. And I'm going to build a proposal to send to them. So I'm really excited about this little tiny swatch. I'm just going to do this, and this is going to be your little sneak peek, and we'll see how she goes. Designing has been really fulfilling and really exciting. I love seeing how knitters take ideas and are able to make it their own and run with it. I love it. I love the colors. I love seeing the customizations. I really want to encourage knitters to really think about what they're making and why they're making it, right? Like, how I made something may not be the best for everyone, but I love seeing knitters go through that thought process and make it perfect for them, because it's one of the best things about being able to take string and make a whole object out of it, is really thinking through what we want ultimately to the end project to be. So I can't wait to get more patterns out, but it's really scary. You know, there's a lot of imposter syndrome, there's a lot of anxieties, there's a lot of perfectionism that I go through. So I appreciate your guys' patience with me and sticking through with me through it all. Also, I just remembered that I did different colors on these buttons, the threads, as I'm talking to. Like, it's like red and purple and blue, and like, that's freaking cute. Sometimes it's too cute. Anyways. Designing. It's fun. It's scary. Thank you. Lastly, I have some sewing. I don't know if you're interested in sewing, but I mentioned earlier that I am going on a trip to Ireland, and I have a pair of off-white linen pull-on pants that I adore. And I also know that I have a lot of fabric, and I have a lot of patterns, and I want to make a pair of pull-on pants for the trip that would match my sweaters. Maybe I'll bring this one, not sure. I feel like this would go well with it, actually. We'll see. I have some yarn that I ordered that I would really love to make the sweater it's for. But for now, I really want to unpack my sewing machine so I can make a pair of pants for the trip that are a little bit soft and easy to clean, because I will have laundry the whole time. Super excited about that. So I had a plaid, but I don't think I'll have enough fabric for it, so we're gonna go with this super simple striped, sort of like reddish brown and ivory theme. You know, I like colors. Brown is my neutral. Not sorry about it. This is called Baked Clay. It's 100% cotton, 54 width. I have 4.5 meters. This is from Blackbird Fabrics, probably a couple years ago. So I think this will be a super easy pair of pants. And I have two patterns. So I kind of get my patterns printed, and then I put them in these little pink envelopes. Ideally, I would have all of them have printed covers, but I'm not always good at that. So I have two pattern options. One is the Pomona pant from Anna Allen Clothing, and one is the Chanterelle pants from Sew Liberated. I'm not sure which one I'm gonna do yet. I know I really like the waistband here, so I'm probably gonna look at all the details of both patterns since I have them both ready to go and decide from there. If you have sewn either of these patterns, please let me know if you have preferences. If you've sewn both of them, that's great. I would love to know. But I'd like to know if you've worked on one of these or both and what you've liked about them. I know I have sewn patterns from Anna Allen Clothing before, and I had thoughts about how some of the construction worked. So maybe I'll try this. Who knows? I'll keep you posted. But I need a pair of soft pants to match my sweaters, because it just needs to happen. Like, just comfort, cute. I just want something that is comfortable, but also looks really cute and fashy. I don't know. That's sewing. So those are all the updates I have for you. If you would like for me to do anything, let me know. I'm willing to discuss anything from design process to knitting to fears. I don't know that I'm the best at tutorials. I can try my best to talk about it if that's what you want. But stay tuned because I would like to record a full video about my wave sweater as well as my other finished objects over the years so that I can kind of give a full pattern breakdown, talk about the yarns, what I feel about them, and if I've worn them for a long time, sort of how they've worn with me, and give more of that insight. But if you'd like to see anything else, let me know and I'll be happy to talk about it. But thank you for joining me. I hope you subscribe and stick around. This is going to be a fun journey to go on together. All right, have a great week. Bye.